From the heart of Vietnam, a discovery has emerged that threatens to upend everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. A 300-year-old mummy has been unearthed, hidden away in an ornate Egyptian-style coffin, a find that has left experts scratching their heads in disbelief. How did this artifact, seemingly out of place in time and location, end up in Southeast Asia? What secrets does it hold about the cultures that once traversed the globe? Let's start digging into more details. According to Nguyen Lan Cuong, the Deputy General Secretary of the Vietnam Archaeology Association, an ancient tomb located in the province of Nam Dinh in the country's north is the smallest composite tomb that has been discovered in Vietnam up to this point. The dimensions of the outer coffin were 100 centimeters in length, 36 centimeters in breadth, and 40 centimeters in height, while the dimensions of the inside coffin were 94.5 centimeters in length, 27.3 centimeters in width, and 33.4 centimeters in height. It was reported that the substance included lime, molasses, sand, and charcoal, and that it was wrapped in a piece of fabric to keep its components contained. The discovery of a skull and bones by archaeologists lent credence to their theory that the site in question was an exhumation tomb. Cuong hypothesized that the tomb was constructed roughly 300 years ago during the final years of the Li dynasty, from 1533 to 1788, based on his preliminary research into the artifacts that were uncovered. The well-known archaeologist Dr. Nguyen Lan Cuong from the Vietnam Institute of Archaeology oversaw the excavation of the ancient tombs that dated back about 300 years. A crew of construction workers in Phun Mai who were constructing a road and an irrigation work made the exciting discovery of an ancient tomb in the afternoon. This crew of laborers opened up 3 coffins, including 2 standard wooden coffins and one that was unique in that it had 2 layers and released the aroma of the attar. The workers had contacted the local authorities because they believed that they had discovered an ancient tomb. An old tomb was found in an area that is now known as the Ba Qua Fields. The casket had 3 layers. The outside layer was made of wood, the middle layer was made of glue, and the final layer was made of timber that had been embalmed with attar. After the coffin was discovered, thousands of people visited the field every single day to take a look at it. They had the preconceived notion that whoever was inside the coffin would be of high social standing and that they would be laid to rest with priceless possessions. It was reported to the Department of Culture and Information in Hanoi when the discovery was made. The tomb was unearthed by Dr. Nguyen Lan Cuong and a team of specialists. The group had an extremely difficult time removing the lid from the casket. An unusual aroma emanated from the glue that was used to bind the middle layer. The body was still whole, complete with teeth, hair, and other components, and it had been meticulously covered in cloth. In the opinion of the expert, this was a mummy. According to Dr. Nguyen Lan Cuong, this is the tomb of an ancient woman who lived a long time ago. In Vietnam, archaeologists have found hundreds of tombs that are very identical to one another. This type of tomb was constructed during either the later Li dynasty in the northern part of Vietnam around 30 years ago, or the Nguyen dynasty in the southern region of Vietnam around 200 years ago. According to Cuong, this tomb is unique in comparison to other tombs that are of the same sort. To begin, the body was wrapped in silver paper, although in other tombs of a similar design, the bodies of the deceased were wrapped in pillows. The second piece of bad news is that there's no escape hatch in the box. Cuong added that ancient humans constructed the outer layers of a coffin first and then positioned the coffin within it. Rice was combined with mortar and molasses to form the outer layers of the structure. In the other tombs, the coffins were held together with nails, while this one is held together by bolts. Many families in the Ngoc area were devastated when the tomb was discovered. According to the members of the commune, the woman is their ancestor. To properly care for the body, the Doan family set up a tent close by. Mr. Doan Manha, head of the Doan family for the 15th generation, stated that in the afternoon before the workers dug up the tombs, he told them to stop digging in this area because there were tombs of his family. They found the 3 tombs several hours after they were urged to cease digging in their families' graves. Mrs. Doan T. Chuin, who is 94 years old, and Mrs. Do T. Chum, who is the eldest member of the family, both affirmed that these tombs belonged to their family. It was reported that there was one small tomb and two long tombs in that land, and it turned out that what they said was accurate. During the time that the government had possession of the ancient tomb, they buried the other two tombs. Mr. Doan was quoted as saying, "Yesterday evening I got together with the most senior members of our family to go over our family records once more, and according to historical records, a good number of members of the family served as mandarins during the Li dynasty." During the same period, several other families asserted that it is the burial place of a member of their family. According to Dr. Nguyen Lan Cuong, DNA testing will be conducted to identify the rightful owner. The discovery of a mummified woman in an old tomb was revealed on September 16, 2011 by the Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism of the province of Dong Nai, which is located in the south of Vietnam. The tomb was located in the Cao Xiao commune of the Long Tung district. When the department was excavating an ancient tomb site for clearance in order to facilitate the construction of the Ho Chi Minh City Long Tung Da Gui Highway Road, they came across the mummy that had lain dormant for the past 2 centuries. Professor Pham Duc Mon from the HCM City University of Social Sciences and Humanities and Du Ding Truat, a well-known archaeologist, were in charge of leading the excavation crew. Both the mummified remains of the woman and her coffin have been preserved and transported to the museum. The mummified remains of the woman were found in the ancient tomb, and according to research conducted by scientists, this tomb had a mysterious rectangular chamber. The length of the tomb, including its wall, was 8.5 meters, while its width was 4.5 meters. The shape of the coffin was similar to a half circle. It was ornamented with a cloth bearing a flowery pattern, and the mummy itself was wrapped in a cloth bearing a print of lotus leaves. Archaeologists came to the conclusion that the mummy was of aristocratic birth during the Nguyen dynasty after researching the structure of the tomb chamber and the coffin. In the future, additional research on the mummy will be carried out by archaeologists in collaboration with medical professionals from the University of Medicine in HCM City. A private company known as Phuc Nuga demolished an old tomb in the Yen Mai region of the Hung province before the end of 2007. This ancient tomb was constructed using a compound that consisted of oyster shells, lime, stone powder, and other materials, according to the employees who were involved in the destruction of the tomb. The corporation utilized drilling machines and recruited a dozen people in order to complete the task of breaking the tomb over the course of 3 days. Within the tomb was a red coffin that was visible. The casket was submerged in a liquid that was at least 20 inches deep. When the coffin was opened, the scent of perfume wafted out across a large area. Within the casket, there was the decomposing body of an elderly man. The man stands at a height of about 1.6 meters. He seems to have been buried for only a short period of time. His eyebrows and hairs were unaffected in any way. His complexion was rosy and velvety soft. The mummy wore a long pair of boots and had numerous layers of linen wrapped around it when it was mummified. People cut off the mummy's clothes in the hope of finding gold because they believed the mummy had been buried with valuables such as gold and jewels. They dug up various artifacts, including hundreds of antique coins, along with the mummy, and carried them with them. After that, the body was placed in a ready-made tomb that had been constructed by a private company. However, because the prefabricated tomb was designed to hold skeletons with the body still in place, the workers needed to dismember some of the bones before they could place the body inside. The locals claim that this location is the burial of a duke from the Li dynasty. The public's reaction to the case was one of extreme disapproval. Coins from antiquity were found buried in the same tomb as the corpse in the province of Hung Yen. In addition, without the consent of the proper authorities, a group of individuals demolished this old tomb. In April of 2005, this tomb was uncovered in a peach grove in Nhat Tan, which is located in Hanoi. The tomb was composed of 3 levels. The outermost level is a thickness of 1.5 centimeters and is constructed with mortar, molasses, sticky rice powder, and dough paper. The next layer is the exterior coffin, which is composed of wood and measures 9 centimeters in thickness. Canary wood that is 10 centimeters thick is used to make the coffin. The mummy was a man who had lived for 60 years. The mummy was wrapped in linens that had been drenched in fragrant liquid. Before the arrival of the archaeologist, the workers opened the casket containing the mummy. 3 pillows, a pair of boots, 4 silk blouses, 10 brocade blouses, 9 aulium, or blouses for the deceased, and 2 cloth bags were buried with the mummy. Several artifacts indicate that the mummy once belonged to a wealthy family who lived in the late 18th century. In May 2005, the mummified body was laid to rest at the Nam Dinh cemetery. Old tombs in Hưng Yên and Hanoi are just 2 examples of the many old tombs that were looted and demolished by people with a low level of education. That's all for today's video, but we'll be right back with more soon. So please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.